Hi, Misha here, and I'm going to do a relatively quick video on the new Hobbymaster Eurofighter Typhoon and compare it with our existing Typhoon from Corgi. JC Wings also makes a Typhoon, although I think theirs tend to be more the European variants. Both are 1/72 scale diecast, and both of these are British RAF FGR.4s, which is the Fighter Ground Attack Reconnaissance. And that's pretty much what equips the RAF today. There's only a few F2s left. The T1 was a early trainer, and the T3 is the current trainer. And while Corgi and others have done Eurofighters in this scale and in diecast for a number of years now, this is the first one that Hobbymaster has done, and according to them, they're using their own new tooling. This is the 01 in the series. It is modeled after an RAF Typhoon as used over Libya, March of 2011. This flew in along with its stablemate, the Tornado. So this is in a primarily ground attack configuration. And the Corgi over here that I've shown you before, this is 2009, 2010, so around the same time period. And this is Falkland Islands Defense. These began to replace the Tornado in that role in 2009. So this one's in a primarily patrol and air-to-air configuration. So it's lighter armed up. It has the 4 AIM 120 AMRAAMs. The model also does come with 2 drop tanks, but I just don't have them on here because I don't know, I kind of like the clean appearance. So for the Hobbymaster, it's loaded down. So I'm not going to go much into the Eurofighter's history. I've done 2 videos already on these. I will just say that this entered into RAF service, or started to be taking up deliveries in 2003. At that time, it was 54 months behind schedule. So 4.5 years. That's why I always kind of think of this as Europe's own F-35 Lightning. And the first squadron began operations, initial operational readiness in 2006. And then in 2008, this model here, the Mark IV with ground attack ability, first became ready. And Britain was one of the big proponents. They really pushed for the ground attack ability. Many other nations were more interested in the air defense and or reconnaissance abilities of the plane, but Britain wanted to be able to replace several of its older planes, including the Harrier, the Sea Harrier, the Tornado, and to some extent even the Jaguar. Yeah, the Mark IV started entering into service into 2008, and most of the older Mark IIs were upgraded to this new standard. And this model here from Libya was really the first time that RAF Typhoons were put into operational service and fired in anger. And after 2011, they've continued to upgrade and update them to use more new munitions and purchase new aircraft. So what do we have here with both these models? Well, feature-wise, they're both very heavy diecast. This is a relatively small plane by modern standards. It's around 50 feet long, depending on the variant, with a wingspan of just under 36 feet. It is capable of super cruise, and it has a maximum speed of Mach 2 plus, and a max altitude of 60 to 65,000 feet, depending on configuration and variant. The single-seat fighter variant and the two-seat trainer variant share the same size. It's just the cockpit has a second seat in it when needed. The Corgi model has some good features. The canards rotate and do so together. So if you move one, they both move, which is always nice, so they're always in symmetry. It has pilot figures. However, the cockpit is glued closed. On the other hand, it does have a opening air brake back here. And it can be displayed with gear up or down. These air-to-air missiles come permanently attached on the fuselage. I'm sure you could pry them off if you wanted, but they come on there. And like I said, you have option of drop tanks or not. And it comes with the typical Corgi stand. They also do a T3, and they do a few other paint schemes for the Mark IV. And there you have it. And as far as I know, these are mostly out of production, at least for the time being. You know, Corgi, they can always introduce a new one. So what does our Hobby Master have? Hopefully I'm getting some of this on camera so you can see the paint and details for yourself. Feature-wise, of course, it has gear up or down. It has pilot figure. Theirs is removable, and canopy can be displayed open or closed. It comes with two canopies, open or closed. On the other hand, it does not have a movable air brake behind the cabin. It's just fixed in the in-flight position. It does have moving canards, though. And they too move together. And all of its ordnance are optional. It seems to have the same 4 AIM 120s. They're kind of in semi-recessed niches, like on a Phantom. It has the 2 drop tanks. Outboard of those, we have 2 air defense missiles. And then we have 4 paveways, I believe they're paveways, guided missiles. So we're pretty much using up 12 of the 13 hard points available on the Typhoon. As for the center line, well, this is being taken up by the stand. But it does come with a targeting pod here that can be plugged in place of the stand. I wish you could have it on and still have it on the stand, but there you go. And if you did not want to use either stand or targeting pod, you could just put in a little filler. It does even come with a third option there, a little filler piece to go in the middle. The stand is the style I like. It doesn't cradle it. It actually slots into the plane, kind of like on their Sukhois and their MiGs. I like this because it's very stable, and they usually sit really deep into the planes. And if there's like a center line fuel tank that's larger, they even usually give you 2 tanks where one has a cutout for the stand to go through, so you can display it on the aircraft. but I guess the targeting pod's just a little too small to do that with. Another good thing I like, the stem is metal, not the plastic as you find on some other Hobby Masters, but on the other hand it has the same small base plate. So mostly a win for the stand, but I still think for what they cost, Hobby Master stands are a little bit of a weak point. They're not the worst, but you know, as I've said, I think Air Force One does better stands. They don't do other things as well as Hobby Master, but damn do they do good stands. Here's your engines. These now, it seems like newer Hobby Masters are coming in clamshell styrofoam packaging, you know, upper and lower styrofoam, which is great. It keeps them very well protected, and they're easily reusable. I never really cared for the plastic. The clear plastic they used was more for display because you could flip open the lid and look at it. Well, with the foam, of course, you can't do that, but a box to me should keep an item safe, and the foam does that better. So I wanted to do this pretty quick for you because this is the first new tooling we've had from Hobby Master in quite some time. And this crept in right before the whole COVID thing got serious. This just came in April of 2020, meaning it probably left China in early March. They are planning to do 3 others at this time. Like I said, this is 01, it's RAF 2011. They're also going to do 02 from the German Air Force. And then the 3rd and 4th issues seem to be from the Spanish Air Force. And knowing Hobby Master, they will do more as time goes on. Probably even eventually doing a 2-seat version, maybe. But if you want a 2-seater, I have the Corgi T3 myself, and I really like it. It doesn't have the missiles under the belly, but it does come with optional fuel tanks and 2 optional practice air-to-air missiles for the wings, so it actually has a little more optional ordnance than the Mark IV here. And of course it has the 2 pilots in the cockpit instead of 1. But yeah, I think the Typhoon is an interesting design, a neat little plane, and it's in use by 9 Air Forces at this time, possibly others. And after a very slow start, it seems to be a very competent aircraft for Britain, Germany, Spain, and others. So, hope I was able to get something on camera for you on this Hobby Master. I really like that it has all the weapons load down. It is very heavy. It sits on its stand quite well. The ordnance all plugged in very nicely, not too loose, not too tight, which is definitely an improvement over the JC version that tends to be a little finicky. I think Hobby Master has really improved their weapons installation over the years. But yeah, if you would like to hear more about the history or just aren't tired of me yet, you can check out the playlist where my other Typhoon Eurofighter videos are. If you have any questions or comments, please do post them below. And if you could, like, share, and subscribe. This is Misha, and I'll catch you very soon next time.